Hello, welcome to another episode of the Geek Press Podcast. I apologize for our hiatus, but we're back. More introspective, more attractive, more hilarious. Just more, if you know what I mean. Today on the episode, Noah and Lewis talk about the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Blue Beetle movies. We talk about pop culture and really just catch up and see how we've been doing over our short little soiree away from the podcasting world. Speaking of the podcasting world, if you want to support us, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Give us positive ratings across the board because if we climb those podcasting charts, I can get that sweet, sweet Hello Fresh sponsorship money. See you in a minute.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, theys and thems. My name is Luis Harris, and welcome to episode 59 of the Geek Press Podcast. As always, I'm joined by my rotating guest of celebrity co-host. Today, you know her, you love her. She's taking Hollywood by storm. Mrs. Florence Pugh. How you doing, Mrs. Pugh?
Hey there, it's me, Florence Pugh. What's going on?
I try to give you an easy one because she's British.
I don't know what she sounds like. I have never heard Florence Pugh in an interview. I'm going to be very honest with you.
How do I know more about celebrities than you?
Because you like celebrities, man. I don't know what to
I
tell you.
guess, yeah. All right. She's British. She's from Oxford.
Okay, should we try? Hello, hello, very nice to meet you. I'm Florence Pugh. Every man's after me, and I'm okay with it. I'm very humble about it.
Okay, that's better.
Oh, sorry, my phone's being stupid. My phone just started.
was that a Reddit TikTok story?
It was because I was lowering the volume on my phone, and my finger accidentally touched TikTok, and it opened it up. But hello, everyone.
I know that fucking AI robot voice from anywhere.
It's like, am I the asshole?
And then they have the Minecraft
43 meters for punching a baby, and then it's just like a guy defending himself for punching a baby. But hello, people. I'm Noah. Each podcast episode, I'm subjected to doing a celebrity impersonation. Most of them are bad, but Lewis plays D&D with me, so he's used to like my bad impression. So we're kind of okay with it. But hello, Lewis. How are you? What are you up to? What are you reading? We've been on a bit of a hiatus simply because you've been busy. I've been trying to scab. We've been so busy. But I'm writing. I'm writing the Avengers movie, but it's just a musical. So you're welcome, everyone. But what's going on with you, Lewis? What have you been listening? What have you been watching? What have you been reading? What's going on?
So as of late, I've been on a big Lin-Manuel Miranda music binge. I've just been listening to a lot of his stuff. And it's funny because when I tell people that, people are like, "Oh, I hate Lin-Manuel." Like a lot of people don't like him. And I mean that's cool. You don't gotta like him as long as he's not like a Kanye. I'm cool with that. That's my musical. That's my musical line. Like you could be an asshole as long as you're not a Kanye. I'm cool with that. As long as you're not promoting Nazism and like anti-Semitic remarks, I'm cool. You be an asshole all you want. And it's funny to hear the amount of people that don't like Lin-Manuel, but I always say this. I'm like, you don't have to like him, but his music is good. Yeah.
You know what? I think his height was very much Hamilton.
Oh, 100%.
And then it's that thing that like when someone really blows up, like then
Like,
there's
what do they
always
do
that
next?
like and it's always like that backlash because people like find out more about them and they're like, oh, I don't like this person. Because like to me, Lin-Manuel Miranda is a guy from like a College Humor skit I saw years ago.
He's in College Humor?
Yeah, he did like a skit or two where like they were fighting at the office, but instead of fighting, they hired rappers to rap battle each other.
I didn't know that.
And they just took all the credit. It's funny. I forget what it's called, but that's where I knew him from. So I saw a clip from like Hamilton. I'm just like, hey, that College Humor guy, good for him. Like I didn't even realize he was like written a lot of shit and everything. I was just like, oh, good for him.
But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Lin-Manuel, and IGN has like contacted me with some like job offers, and usually they're like pretty on top of everything, right? Like I could say this now because like the stuff I'm working on isn't embargoed. I'm supposed to be working on a map for Cyberpunk, right? And it's supposed to like update their map that they have on their website. And my boss told me, "Oh, you have until the end of the month to do it, and we're gonna be paying you $250." And I was like, "Okay, easy work. I could do that, no problem." And then she told me, she was like, "Hey, we're still waiting on the resources, and we'll let you know as soon as we get those resources. But don't forget, it's due at the end of the month." I haven't heard shit in like 2 weeks.
Oh my
And I'm like,
gosh.
"Yo, you gave me a deadline, and I can't even do my fucking job. Like, come on, you know?" And
You know what? They
then
shouldn't get mad because that's literally on them.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she's gonna be cool about it. She might even extend my deadline a bit. I hope so at least, you know. And then on
Mhm.
top of that, I was supposed to I'm working on a guide for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. In that game,
Mhm.
it's like Dead by Daylight, but instead of like, all the killers, it's Leatherface and his family. And
Mhm.
I she had told me, she was like, "Okay, we're going to offer you like $600, do XYZ yada yada yada." And that's why, I was telling Noah, usually Noah and I record like at 9 o'clock, but I was up till like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning playing this game, doing like just taking notes and doing work. And to backtrack a bit, they usually give us a code for the games like a week out, like maybe sometimes the latest a couple days out. But I didn't get a code at all for this game.
Mhm.
I was just really lucky that this game happened to launch on Game Pass, and I subscribed to Game Pass. So if I didn't have a Game Pass subscription, I wouldn't have been able to play this game at all.
Oh my
And yeah,
gosh.
so I told my editors, I was like, "Yo, I never got a code. Like, I'm playing right now for the first time." And they're like, "What the heck?" And then on top of that too, like, um I was like emailing them, and they never responded back to my emails. Like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" You know. So
Mhm.
yesterday was technically day one of my job, and I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like, I don't know what's happening. I was honestly a little concerned. I was like, "Did they forget about me? Like, did they like change their mind last second? So I'm not getting this project now." So I I worked with I started a part-time job just so I can make some extra cash, and I got home from my job, and I just saw like they created a Discord channel like, "Oh, here's all the work." I'm like, "Oh shit. I kind of forgot about this." And so I had to like quickly fucking switch into that. And I came home, took a nap really quick, and just got ready for like to work on that for a good portion of the night. But
Mhm.
that's been kind of my week more or less, and
Mhm.
nothing other than that, really nothing too crazy. My part-time job is cool, just a lot of physical labor, and it's been a
Mhm.
while since I've had like a physical labor job, so I have to kind of readjust my head a little.
Yeah, you have to like get into that mode.
Yeah, I have to get a little bit into that mode, but a good buddy of mine is my boss, and he's been like really cool. And the whole reason why I'm doing it is just because I'm pretty sure I complained on the podcast a few times. For freelance work, either you have too much work or you have not enough work. And my girlfriend and I are trying to move out by the end of the year, earliest 6 months. So we're just like, okay, I can't afford to do this if I'm just doing my freelance shit still. Like, I need consistent money always coming in. Yeah, but that's been my week in a nutshell. I know you. Oh, also too, I forgot to mention this. I got
Mhm.
within yeah, it was this week. I earlier last week I ordered a Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings starter pack, the same one
Mhm.
you have, Noah, and they came in the mail like Monday. And then I picked them up, and I was like, and Elizabeth was telling me, she was like, "Oh, this ain't gonna be like another Pokemon thing, is it?" Because for like at the height of like the lockdown, I got super into Pokemon, and I didn't know
Mhm.
how to play the card game, but I got super into collecting the cards. So I would just buy booster packs all the time, and I wouldn't play; I would just collect them. And she was like, "This ain't gonna be another Pokemon thing, right?" And I was like, "No, I actually want to learn how to play."
Mhm.
And especially too because I found out that Wizards of the West Coast, or whatever they're called, the ones who own Magic the Gathering, they said that they're gonna do a collab with a bunch of video games next year. One of them being Assassin's Creed, another one being Final Fantasy, and then the one that piqued my interest was Fallout, and I'm a huge Fallout fan. So I was like, "Fuck, I'm definitely gonna get those Fallout cards." But I need to learn how to play the game, and why not just learn how to play with the Lord of the Rings deck because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. So I started playing that, and then it's like, when you do like heroin for the first time, and you're like, "Hey buddy, you gotta try some of this." So I went and did that to you and our supporter of the podcast, Kevin, and we now all three of us got Magic the
Shout
Gathering
out
cards. Yeah,
Kevin.
shout out to Kevin.
And also shout out Rudy, so
enemy of the podcast. Yeah, fuck you,
Enemy
Rudy.
of the podcast.
And see, if Rudy listens to this, he will know at exactly like 9 minutes and 11 seconds we talk shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if he tries to come at
I
us,
said something nice. That's you.
yeah.
That was on
But
you.
if
I
he
said
tries to
shout out
come at us
Rudy.
in a group chat, I got receipts.
Mm-hmm.
But so me, it was originally gonna be me and you. I remember I DM'd you saying, "Hey, I found this $40 pack. You want to go halfsies on it?" And this is before you bought your starter pack, and
Mm-hmm.
you were just like essentially like, probably not because I don't, I don't want to. And I was like, all right, cool.
I also
And
got back from a vacation, so I'm like, I'm gonna be a little
yeah, I
tighter with my
forgot
money
about that
for a
part.
bit.
And before you had even said probably not, Kevin had DM'd me saying, "Hey, you got into
Mm-hmm.
Magic? I got into Magic. Let's play." I'm like, "Okay." And then a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, "Why should I just instead of splitting a 40 pack, why don't I split $120 booster pack amongst the three of us?"
Mm-hmm.
And for context, it's not like a single booster pack like that's worth $120.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
like,
one of those boxes you'd see at like a store
yeah.
where it's like a bunch of them.
hmm So I sent a group. I created a group chat with the three of us, and I was like, "Yo, y'all want to split this?" And then that's when you said, "Oh, I'm a little tight on cash." So then Kevin and I ended up splitting it, and I have the pack. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh my gosh, are you guys gonna open it tonight?
Yeah, I like tore off the plastic and all that, but I haven't
Mm-hmm.
opened any of the cards or anything. So I figured me and him can do that together when I see him tonight. And also too, I'm gonna bring my deck, and I want to play with him because I've been playing the mobile game and the PC game,
Mm-hmm.
which is the same game, and I more or less kind of know how to play the game now because of that. So I'm excited to see him tonight, which is a first because I'm usually not. And that's a joke, Kevin. And yeah, that's. But anyways, I was rambling for close to 10 minutes. That was my week. Noah, what about you? I know you said you went on vacation. I know you have something really exciting you want to talk about too, and just take it away, buddy.
Well, I want to say what's very interesting is that if you're not interested in the card game Magic, I totally get it. I'm slowly learning the rules, but I would definitely say if you love art, to totally Google Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings art, and because a lot of the cards are like beautifully painted, like the artwork is freaking fantastic. It reimagines characters, and I wanted to talk about something really interesting because the moment the previews for the cards dropped, there was a bit of controversy in like geek space because many of the characters were reinvented as like people of color. Like Aragon is black,
Hmm. How dare you
and
make my guy black?
yeah, literally there are people like, why did they do this? Da, 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 da."
That reminds me of something too. Can I
Mhm.
interject?
Yeah,
So yesterday I was streaming Final Fantasy VII Remake over at twitch.tv/I'm Joshua Joestar, and Noah watches like most of the stream. If Noah can watch my stream, he'll have it on the background at the very least.
yeah. If I'm not watching it, I usually like if I have shit to do, I'll like turn it on my TV and just leave it.
Which is
So like if
something
you're ever like, is Noah here? And I'm just like, I'm not, but my TV is.
which I appreciate that he does that. And I'm playing Seven right now for the first time ever. And there's this part where it's this guy. I think his name's like Riggs or Biggs. I forget his name.
Biggs.
Biggs. Okay, he's this buff black guy with tattoos, and he has a fucking machine gun for a hand. Okay, and he's sitting down on a bus, and he says a remark like, "Oh, everyone knows me because I'm part of this terrorist organization." And then Noah's like, "No, everyone knows him because he's the only black guy in the fucking world." And then I was like, "Wait, what the fuck?" And then something
Oh
clicked
wait,
in.
I'm sorry. Also, his name's Barrett. We confused the
Barrett.
character. His
Oh,
name's
okay.
Barrett. I heard Biggs and I was like, Biggs is a bandana guy. So I had to like look it up. I was like, what's his name again?
And I fell down this quick rabbit hole, and there was this article I found on Eurogamer that I need to read. But apparently, because I remember playing through 15, because as of now, I've only played two Final Fantasy games, which is 15 and now 7. And I'm just like, holy shit, in 15 there was no black people at all. And
Hmm.
it never fucking dawned on me because I was like, I wasn't really thinking of that. And there's this whole article that there's only like 3 black people ever in the whole series. And that there's a little like talks behind the woods that the creator is a bit racist because of that, which that kind of warrants something. If you've had 16 mainline Final Fantasy games and not including all the fucking spin-offs, there's only
Hmm.
3 black people. Like, bruh, come on.
Like that's crazy. Not to mention like Mexican or any other
No,
nationality.
we're all
Just
fucking Asian.
mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry. You were talking about how Aragon, they made him black, and people
Yeah,
are like, "Oh, how
they
dare
made him
you?"
black. Yeah, they were mad about it. I don't really care. I don't
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting though, just the backlash, because there's always those conversations of like, "Oh, you're blackwashing," which isn't fucking real,
I was about to say,
and
is that
lots
even
of
a
things.
thing?
The racists say it. It's not a real thing, but it's just always interesting. Like, they always put out like statements like, "Oh, we want to include diversity," and lots of new stuff like that. And it was very interesting because uh there was quite a bit of fight about it online, like, why are they doing that? And I have an article from like a card game website, Wizard of the Coast. They exclusively said, some characters may look different from previous depictions, and that's intentional. Great works like the art of the Lord of the Rings are only enhanced by having multiple interactions in the world. This fresh update was a conscious choice. So like they did this on purpose. They were trying to make a statement of being like diverse and give it some originality. And they said they're like really proud of it. And I think it's cool. I don't really like, I'm not offended as someone who like watched all of the Lord of the Rings movie when I was like literally when I was 5 when they dropped in like 2000, and who has the books and stuff. Like, who cares? You're getting your panties in a
No,
twist
Noah.
over
No,
like a black person.
now, what if they made them all black?
Not fuck it, why not?
That's where you draw the line. Oh, my voice cracked when I was saying
No,
that.
I'm down for it. And it's just like, okay, you have to like look at pieces of work and where and how they were made. So if we're looking at Lord of the Rings, it was made by a British guy in during World War II by a bunch of white people, and it's okay to update things and adjust them to the world around us.
Yeah, I'm all for like race bending, but there's a
Hmm.
caveat.
Okay.
And the only caveat is as long as it doesn't affect the character, you know? And I mean, in certain
Hmm.
senses, like I always use Bruce Wayne as an example. Bruce Wayne has to be white because he, uh,
It's part of that white
yeah,
privilege, his
exactly. That's
background.
exactly what I was gonna say. It's a part of that white privilege, and like kind of like Clark Kent always kind of needs to be white because it's like going back to that white privilege thing, you know? Like certain characters kind of need to be
Hmm.
white, but let's say they introduce, fucking Clark Kent Jr. He's black. I don't care, you know.
Hmm.
But that's my only caveat. Like,
Yeah.
but that's a very like case by case scenario.
Hmm.
Like I
You have to
think.
really
Oh, go
think
for it.
about it. Go ahead. No,
Like
go ahead.
okay, I was gonna say like I think like Barry Allen could be black. I don't think that could really. That's not gonna
Oh, you
fuck with this
can't.
character.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think it's interesting because it's like, is their background a part of their character? If it's not, then you can have them be whatever race they need
Mm-hmm.
to be. But like you said, Bruce Wayne, the power and the privilege and where all that money comes from, that's a part of the character. And I think that's something that should maybe stay.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think it's interesting whenever they change the race of characters. And I understand, I'm fine with Superman being black, but I understand like, he's from middle of America. He represents what many Americans believe to be like the typical American,
Mm-hmm.
like light eyes, black hair, tall, that kind of thing. So I understand that, and I'm like, it's just such an odd thing that people get so up in a tizzy about it. Because for thousands of years we've had stories about white people, and then they're just like, can we have like a brown person? And then everyone's like, yeah, they're taking over all our stories. No, no, no,
Didn't
no.
something
It's
like
just.
listen?
Mhm.
Didn't something like that happen with the Avengers? Or like one of the Marvel movies when they like had like a person of color lead the movie. That was a few years
I
ago. Anyway, not
I
important.
don't
Okay,
know.
not important. Not important. Not important.
Well, the thing is that Marvel is done. It's over. It ended. It's gone. Marvel's over. So
Just like DC.
yeah, no, DC's getting a rebirth, baby.
Nah, they're not calling it that. They're calling
They
it.
should. That'd be very funny.
Honestly, that would be because like DC Rebirth was like fucking in recent history. That was like peak DC.
A lot of good books came out of that.
Yeah, they should just call it, just own it, and then just complete.
Mhm.
Anyways, yeah, but DC's
But
coming. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
I know
DC,
you.
I
You went to go do something.
I did.
You
I went to
scabbed
go
the picket
see.
line.
Oh my god,
You
no,
crossed the. You're like, excuse
no.
me. Move. You want
I was
better
like,
pay? I want better seats. Excuse me.
Yeah, actually, I want a job. Give me a job. And I just started pushing people and writing. But no, shout out to the homie friend of the podcast, Gina Versa,
Mm-hmm.
who does a lot of producing in media, as well as co-host of the Waffle Press, which is a neutral
Yeah, they
entity to
used to
our
be the enemy
podcast.
of the podcast, but they're being
Now they're neutral.
yeah, they're gaining our trust slowly.
But shout out to him and the National Hispanic Media Coalition. He invited me to a
That's
free
such like a strong
screening.
name.
It is. They invited me to a free screening of Blue Beetle. Unfortunately, Gene found out he got COVID literally hours before. So I was like, "Oh, well, you don't gotta worry about it, man. Just rest up." And he was like, "No, you should still go." And I was like, "Okay." So
It was like that
that's
the
literally
thing
what
in the movie,
happened. I was
like,
like,
go without me. And you're like, all right, fuck it.
"Uh-huh,
You gotta tell me twice.
like, go without me." And
Alright.
yeah, so that's basically what
Did
happened.
you think I was not gonna go to this?
Yeah, I just didn't want to be rude about it. But yeah, we went and it was a lot of fun. We're not gonna do any spoiler things, I guess, but I will say that this film very much has the bare bones of most superhero films. You
Okay.
know, most origins, like they gain their strength, family, what they love, da, da, da. It's a lot of stereotypical, like structurally wise, very stereotypical. What makes it really interesting is sort of like the Hispanic culture and heritage, the characters, the family. His family is so fun. I love his family. It was really great seeing all of them interact with each other. He's a fun guy. I've never watched Cobra Kai, but I think he's from that Zolo.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very fun guy. He brought a lot of energy to the role. And it was a really enjoyable experience. I really liked it. And
Okay.
I knew I was gonna like it because like there was this moment where they're driving in like an uncle's truck and La Chona starts playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "Oh, this movie is like the top 10 most popular songs you hear at like a Mexican party."
Mm-hmm.
Was in like the soundtrack, and I was like, "All right, I like this movie." I was like, "I don't like it."
How was the cast? Because I want to answer that, and then I have something else I want to interject because there's one
Mhm.
cast member in particular I kind of look at like I side eye him a lot now because of like a lot of stuff I found out. And when I found
Mhm.
out they casted this particular individual, I was like, is that really the best choice? You know? But go on.
The cast was really good,
Mm-hmm.
particularly like his sister, Belicia
Mm-hmm.
Escobedo. She plays his sister, and she's really good. There's a lot of emotional moment. It's crazy because there's a lot of like emotional and comedic moments, and I feel like everyone really delivers on all of those.
Uh-huh.
And here's this isn't really a spoiler, but George Lopez just straight up murders someone, and it's really funny.
Hmm.
And I haven't found George Lopez funny in a long time, so this like surprised me. I was like, oh my god.
Does
But
this go for it?
but I was about to say there's a couple jokes that didn't land, but that's because they were like a few boner and fart jokes. Like it wasn't like, oops, I farted. It was just like there was a weird noise and he'd be like, what? And he's like, that wasn't me. Like that kind of joke. That doesn't really land for me because I don't like bodily humor jokes. Like I'm not a
I'm
fart joke
sorry here.
person. I'm not.
The
It's not like
fucking
a
joke police.
I'm not that I wasn't like yelling at the screen like but the theater I was in had lots of kids, so the kids seemed to like it, so that's good.
Okay.
But but who were you worried about?
It was George Lopez actually, believe it or not.
Oh
Um
yeah, I have very mixed feelings on George Lopez now as an adult.
uh-huh.
Just because some of the things he says, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
What
so
are you-
I'm gonna kind of go on a little bit of a rant.
yeah, go for it.
So I need to explain some things too.
Hmm.
There's this young comedian. His name's Ralph Barbosa. He's a
Hmm.
young Hispanic man. Fucking hilarious. I've never actually seen his stuff, but I've seen his stuff on TikTok. And with the
Hmm.
little I've seen, I've always laughed my ass off.
Hmm.
And he he's like blowing up. This it's good for Hispanic comedians and like kind of making a name for himself. He's been on late night shows, just doing tours and shit. And so what had happens is George and now I don't know these comedians' names specifically, but George Lopez is on a podcast with some older Hispanic comedians, and these
Hmm.
Hispanic comedians were like, "Yo, do you guys see Ralph? That guy's cool, this and that." And George Lopez is kind of like trying to act like a rock star. He's like, "Who? I don't even know who that is." And
Hmm.
everyone's like, "Oh, how do you not know him? Like, come on, this is cool." And then he says, one of the comedians says something along the lines of like, I'm happy that we like set the way for them. And one of them saying like, I'm always actively trying to help Hispanic comedians come into the industry because
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had that when we were their age. So I'm trying to break the cycle. I'm trying to make it more inclusive, yada yada
Mm-hmm.
yada. George Lopez is like, I don't do that. I believe everyone should come up on their own. You don't need help. This and that. I'm paraphrasing a bit, and he's like, it just kind of makes you weak. Like you got to be a man and do it on your own. And then the comedians are like, Nah, bro, that's old head thinking. Like that's toxic. Fuck
Oh,
that.
he is an old head.
I know, but that was the
Mm-hmm.
first like kind of like red alarm. And then I find out that this opened like the floodgates, and a lot of Hispanic comedians and a lot of like Hispanic actors came out and
Mm-hmm.
like said statements, and George Lopez like never really acknowledged them. And apparently it was like a known industry secret that like if you were Hispanic, and let's just say for the sake of conversation, let's say Kevin is hosting, you know, Kevin's comedy tour, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I want to have George Lopez, Luis, and Noah on my tour."
Mm-hmm.
George Lopez was like, "Yeah, you can get me, but you better kick off Luis and Noah. Like, I ain't gonna work with other Hispanics. Like, I'm the Hispanic guy." And he did that a lot with a lot of different people, and he cost some people like residencies in casinos, and
Yeesh.
yeah, like essentially, like he cost people jobs. Like, I don't know how else to put it. And a lot of people were coming out and saying that, like, this is fucked up. You've been doing this for years. We just kept our mouth shut. Like what the fuck, George? You on the surface, you're like, yeah, Mexican pride, Hispanic. The George Lopez show is all about like being a community
Mm-hmm.
at its core. And then he was like, you front this, but then you do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
He's
like,
like, yeah, Latino community, my community,
yeah.
no one else's.
And then I found out too that like it's just it's very like like what the fuck, dude? Practice what you preach. And I'm not gonna say who, but I have friends who work for him, and they've told me that like at home he is like the most like depressing dude ever. Like he just kind of sits. I don't know if things have
Mm-hmm.
changed since then because it's been a couple years since I've asked, but like he's like just the most depressing dude to be around, and that
Mm-hmm.
like his wife doesn't really like him and stuff. But I don't know if he's still
Well,
married or not.
they're I believe they're sort of estranged. I think
Yeah,
they're having an estrangement, so like they're separating. I think.
and I think and from what I heard from like the
Oh no, him and
woodworks.
his daughter. Sorry.
Okay, from him and from the woodworks, everything that kind of like goes wrong in his life is his fault. But I'm just celebrity gossiping at this point. But
See, you do like
I do. It's
celebrities.
my girlfriend. My girlfriend got me into it. But that's the thing though. Going back to what I said about the whole Hispanic thing, I just look at him really weird now because it's like, how are you gonna say, I could give two shits about his personal life, like with his family, but how are you gonna say like, oh, let's build up Hispanics and then you're gonna cost all these Hispanic jobs? Like you want to be the only fucking Mexican comedian. You want to be the only like Latino comedian in the room. That's not cool, you know. And then I
Hmm.
find out that he is in Blue Beetle, which is like our movie. Like this is
Hmm.
for lack of a better term, this is our Black Panther.
let
And
me let me tell you, he saw those rumors of that he doesn't like Hispanics and Latinos. He's like, no, I don't. No, I
that's
don't. Look,
that's
I'm in a
ex-
whole movie with him.
That's
I'm in a whole
exactly
movie with
why I
him.
fucking think he took the role. I shit you that. So when I saw George Lopez, like I was like, yeah, Blue Beetle. I like him in
Uh
Injustice. I
huh.
like him in Young Justice, and everything else. I'm like, yeah. And I see George Lopez. I'm like, fuck me, man. Like, of all, it was- you could have casted anyone else. I've been an advocate of this for like a couple of years now. I think
Hmm.
as Mexicans, we should no longer rep. We should no longer have George Lopez as the face of Mexicans.
Let him go. Who
Yes,
who should we have the
Danny
face of
Trejo.
Mexicans
Danny
now?
Trejo should be the face of
Ooh,
Mexicans.
Danny Trejo is
He
good. He should
does.
have been the uncle in this
That's
movie
what I've been
too.
fucking saying since day one, bro. He does so much for the community. He was like an ex gangbanger. He owns it. He
Hmm.
was like, yeah, I was in prison. Fuck that life. Like I was in movie media and like I give back to the community. I build up shops in like Los Angeles. Danny Trejo is the perfect guy to be the face of the Mexican community, bro.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry. This is something I'm really
No,
passionate
just
about.
just imagine Blue Beetle on the ground, enemies surrounding him, guns raised. Danny Trejo enters from a broken door and he goes, Theo, get out of here. He says, No, mijo. I got this. And then he pulls out two machetes. And then he starts jumping and slicing and jumping
I'd
and
like
slicing.
to think too he does like the anime thing where he's like slicing the bullets with the machete.
Oh, let me tell you, this movie has a lot of anime moments. There was like he literally Zolo literally does a fucking kamehameha.
That's
He does
cool.
like he does like a cloud strife blade
I
spin
saw that in
thing.
the trailer.
Uh-huh. It's just like it's a lot of anime in this during the fights, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, sorry, I got
No,
completely,
it's okay. No,
but
you're right. I'm on board now. We should have had Danny Trejo in this instead of George Lopez.
but yeah, that's the whole thing of why I kind of looked at that movie a bit side eye. Nonetheless, I'm still gonna go see it. It's a Hispanic movie, you know, and it looks like a lot of fun. It genuinely looks like a lot of fun. And, like every iteration, I've seen Blue Beetle, and I've always liked him. And going back to what I said about the whole Injustice thing, like if you guys haven't played the video games or read the comic books, Injustice is like the serious, like fucking
Mhm.
as serious as it gets, like DC comic storyline, because people are dying left and right.
Mhm.
And Blue Beetle is like that one source of light in the whole fucking like series. He's cracking jokes, and he could be in like life or death situations, and he's just kind of
Mhm.
he's dicking around. And I'm
Him
like,
and Booster Gold's like little story in Injustice 2 is comics are so good.
That okay. That was another thing I was gonna ask you. So one thing I do like about Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle is that he's inherently tied to the old Blue Beetle, and by proxy, so is Booster Gold.
Mhm.
Is there kind of without giving anything away, did they kind of address the like other booster, not Booster Gold, Blue Beetle and stuff?
Mhm. I think what's interesting, I'm gonna try to tie this into the whole like Saffron and Gunn DC universe. I think what they too want to do is sort of establish a world that already exists
Hmm.
because Marvel took years to build up their universe. Like one movie, one character, but you see like the cast of Superman and how it has like five different
Fucking
heroes in it.
everybody.
Like they're not gonna be the focus, but they're gonna be in like the background. So they're already trying to like fill out a world that has
I'd like to
heroes. They
think
don't have to
too.
take the time.
There's a scene where
Mhm.
like Clark Kent's in the Daily Bugle, not Daily Bugle, Daily Planet, and he's talking.
Peter Parker, Tom Holland shows up.
He's talking to Lois Lane about like, well, we got to meet deadlines, this and that, blah 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 blah. In the background, you see Green Lantern fly by. It's like that's it. Like, that's all. That's all he
You
was
know what?
doing.
I would love that though. Just because the MCU feels so fucking lonely. Everything's so separated. Like you barely like in the comics, people hang out at all and it's no big deal.
That is
And I
very
kind of
true.
want that in the DCU. Like if like two characters hang out in a Marvel movie, it's like it's a big thing. But if in a
Yeah.
DC movie we just have people walking by, like it fills the world out. It feels like there's other heroes. It's not so lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And what the whole point of this is that in the Blue Beetle movie, they're literally like, "Oh, you could be a hero like Superman in Metropolis or the Flash in Central City." Like they're already establishing other heroes. And
Okay.
there's literally like a reference where they're doing like research to find out Blue Beetle, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, this guy, Ted Cord, he used to be the Blue Beetle, and then before him there was Dan Garrett." Like they established so much.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And there's no Booster Gold hints yet, but there is
I love Booster Gold. He's like one of
Ted.
my
There is
favorite
some
characters.
Ted. I hope they bring Ted. If I don't know if they're doing a fucking another one of these, but if they ever do, I would definitely say I hope they bring Booster Gold and Ted Cord into this. I think it'd be really fun. But
I did see a thing just to kind of interject off of
mhm,
your gun remark.
mhm,
Apparently, he had like little to no influence over that movie. He just kind of pulled up, said, "Hey, how you guys doing?" They're like, "We're doing good." Let
mhm.
me look at a copy. All right, it looks good. Like
Yeah.
he didn't really have too much of a say over how to do things. So that's cool to see that like the other directors had more or less were on like the same wavelength as Gunn is right now.
Mhm.
And he was like, "All right, fuck it. This kind of lines up with what I want to do." And
Yeah.
and to go off of what you said too, Zolo kind of gave like a stereotypical response to like every actor. He's like, "Yeah, I want to do this for a couple years." So there's interest in like fleshing out Blue Beetle.
Mhm,
But my thing is too like eventually you gotta age him, because it's just we live in the real world. So I wonder
mhm.
how long he can play like the high school role, or if they're gonna do
Oh,
like a
in the movie, he
college.
graduated college.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
He's like coming home from like law school.
Oh, okay.
And he literally only went to law school to make money because he's like, I gotta support the family. I don't know anything, but I'm gonna try. So he's like not a kid in the movie.
Is that a thing in the comics too? Because I don't know too much. Like he's always like a high schooler,
Mhm.
right? Isn't that his thing?
Currently, comics ages are always fucking weird because they want characters to grow up, but you can't grow up too much because we don't want you an old person because we hate old people.
That is true.
Uh, that is true. So in the comics right now, he's currently college age. He graduated high school and he's doing this thing where he's like, I've been a hero and a high schooler for all my life. I don't know what I want to do with my life. So he's like on like what do they call it when they don't go to college? They like take a year off, like a gap year.
I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
he's
the
on
name.
like a gap year right now. Right, gap year right now. Yeah. So he's just kind of finding himself and dicking around as a hero. So he's an adult, I guess.
Okay, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Mhm. So that's it, the movie was really good. Now I can't stop thinking of George Lopez. While you were talking, I was looking up stuff. Apparently, what his like a daughter he was like estranged from for like 12 years. Like her parents got him and his mom got divorced at like 15. And it was a whole thing, and they've been working on it, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, George Lopez is not a good person. Like
It's funny
it
because
breaks
like
my heart too to say that.
yeah, because I saw him so many times when I was little. Like the
Hmm.
George Lopez show. Are you kidding me?
Like we all grew up on that at one point, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Like if you were Hispanic, I'm almost convinced if you're Hispanic in Southern California, we all watched like the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
But
100%.
how
And
many
I remember late night watches of it just on TV, and you're like half
low
watching it while trying to
ra
sleep.
yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, now let me ask
Okay.
you. How many
Okay.
Blue
Ask me
Beetles
anything.
do you give this movie out of 10? What's the official Geek
I
Press
Oh
review?
my gosh. I give it an 8 out of 10 Blue
Eight
Beetles.
eight Blue Beetles out of 10. Okay, that's a pretty
Mhm.
solid one right there.
I have a few issues with the script because sometimes it's a bit obvious, but again, it's like the flavor of it all is what really saves it.
Okay. Because I remember when like review the embargoed reviews were going up,
Mhm.
a lot of my like industry buddies, this particularly the Hispanic ones, were like, I fucking love this movie. I
It's
loved
really
it.
good.
And I here's something I found really interesting. Um and I wanted to get your opinion on this too. I'm not talking shit about
Mhm.
my editor. Not talking shit at all.
Okay.
Want to throw that out there in case an off chance this comes back. You know, one
Mhm.
of the entertainment editor for GameSpot, Chris Hayner, he gave the movie like a 3, and he said his like cliff notes was like it just wasn't all that, he didn't enjoy it, and I'm like that's fair, you don't have to like it, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I wonder this now. I granted I haven't read the full review. I only read like the little like the highlighted cliff notes, so I can't really talk on it too much. But I wonder if it was because he couldn't really connect with the movie like as if like people like you and I can. So maybe that
Mhm.
hindered his experience a little bit, you know? Because
Mhm.
maybe like you said, like they were playing like specific songs in the car. You're like, bro, my fucking that's like it's like my mom would play that like every Saturday morning. Or like a little, they say little shit that like that's for us. And
Mhm.
that just like flew over his head. Now, I that's what I'm just talking out loud. Just I have nowhere to go with this, but I do wonder if that's why he probably gave the movie a lower review because like some of the stuff didn't hit as hard for him as it would for you or me.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because there are like a lot of cultural references, and if he just can't connect with that, like not even on like a cultural level, but on like someone that enjoys see like interacting with other people's culture. If you're just like I just couldn't really connect to it, then I guess that's understandable
Hmm.
because it.
I'll go for it.
I thought there was a really funny moment where I'm just like, this is this movie this is I I'm this movie is for me. I was about to say that, and then I stopped myself, but I'm like, I don't want there to be dead air. I'll just say it. This movie's for me. Sorry. There's
Just
this
you.
Mex. Yeah, just me. That's why nobody's watching it because it's just for me. But there's this moment where like the film's wrapping up, right? And there's this Spanish song called "Sabor a mí," which is like the taste of me, and it's like a very like it's like a song that you sway with someone you like. You know what I mean? It's like a
Hmm.
romantical song, and it's like and like it started playing, and I started tearing up. I was like, oh no,
Oh,
because
that's
I'm like
cute.
surrounded by families and kids, and I was like, I don't want children to see me cry.
I need to look tough.
I need to look tough. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Right now on Rotten Tomatoes,
It's pretty
critic
high.
it is a 76 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And audience score has a 92. So
Okay.
that's not bad. Better than The Flash.
I mean, I haven't seen I'm waiting for that to drop on like HBO just so I
Hmm.
could watch it. I don't even know if it's on HBO yet. Maybe it is.
It is. They dropped it early because no one wanted to see it. I'm pretty sure it
Okay,
is.
I'm gonna make a point to watch The Flash because I'm like
Oh my god. We need
I
to have a big Flash review then.
oh fuck, that'd be fucking hilarious. Speaking of other
Oh,
stuff too,
mm-hmm.
I did go to the movies this week.
What
Uh,
you see?
I went to go see Ninja Turtles. Have you seen it yet?
It looks so cute. I have not seen
Are
it.
you gonna watch it?
I think I might. You know what? No. I'm
No?
just
Okay.
I want to, but I don't know if I'll remember to put effort.
So I'm gonna go into like my spoiler review right now, but before I do that,
Mhm.
let's take a word from our sponsor. Noah, have you been watching Ahsoka?
No, because it's not on TV yet.
Oh, I thought it was out. Okay, never mind.
No, it comes out this Tuesday.
Drops on a Tuesday?
Well, it's dropping on a Wednesday, and then for some reason they pushed it early for some. I don't know why. It was odd.
Okay, I thought it already came out.
No, it's this week. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm glad it switched from a Tuesday to a Wednesday because I was genuinely gonna cancel D&D. Like I was telling Rudy, I was like, "Oh, it comes out Wednesday," and I was at like 6, and I was like, "Rudy, I might cancel D&D for the first time, for like the second time in like 4 years." I was ready. I was like, "Honestly, I need to watch Ahsoka." But
I
what are you about to say? What are you talking about?
really quick on that. Like
Okay.
I don't know if it's just like if I'm just being like an old man now, but I just don't really care about Disney Plus shows now, you know?
No, there's some fatigue there that I will not blame you for.
Like the Book of Boba Fett really dropped the ball for me. The only good one in my opinion is
Mhm.
Mando. And even then this season was
It
pretty
was a little
mid.
mid.
Obi-Wan
I don't
Kenobi was a
mhm.
little mid. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
Obi-Wan Kenobi had a weird thing where it got better as it went along.
exactly. Like yeah, like I didn't really care for I'm fuck that one girl that everyone was being
Revan,
racist for.
right?
Yeah,
Or I forget her
I didn't
name.
really care for her until maybe like the last like 2 or 3 episodes, and
Mhm.
I was like, this is too late. Like why should I care about her now? You know.
Mhm.
And the only good parts of that show were Vader. Like hands down, he was the show stealer.
Yeah, that's one of it's funny because I say all the time that these Disney Plus shows don't know how to have ends. Like they don't know how to end, but I feel like Obi-Wan ended really well.
Yeah, it ended well. They should stop there. And Ian
Mhm.
McGregor, as much as I love you, don't do a season 2, please.
Yeah, we're fine.
But
Just show up in the Ahsoka flashbacks and we're good.
yeah, yeah, just do that. Well, okay,
What were you what were you saying?
sorry, I it's just
So we're talking
Disney
about you know what
Plus.
you know what I liked if you don't take Boba Fett seriously at all as a character, you'll have fun with the show.
I do, but my biggest complaint is that they killed my boy Cad Bane in the lamest way.
You know the thing is, I'm gonna try to be objective. If you like Cad Bane, it fucking blows.
Yeah, that's what I was.
If you're a fan of Cad Bane, that bounty hunter, it fucking blows. If you're like me and you've never liked him, it does not matter.
I joke about it a lot with my friends, and
Hmm.
I'm like a fat guy in a skirt killed a Cad Bane.
Hey, that's put some respect on fucking Boba Fett's
I
name.
am not gonna put respect on Boba Fett's name. He has lost my respect. Right? He had that cool
Mm,
moment in Mando,
you
and
can
then
put it on me.
after that, that was it. You know.
Don't ever disrespect my husband again.
I will continue to disrespect him to the end of days.
The armor stays on, baby.
Fuck. The other guy looked cooler in the armor. It didn't even fit him.
Oh, Cobb Vanth. I love Cobb
Yeah,
Vanth.
see, there you go. Now you're completely over him, huh?
Oh, I am annoyed because I thought he was gonna die, but he's okay. He's alive. He's in the respirator tank. He's in the Bacta tank. He's
You know
fine.
what? Ninja Turtles, all right? We got.
Wait, Ninja Turtles. Back to Ninja Turtles. All the trailers are incredibly cute.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. I'll let you say your piece
Uh,
real quick, but
so,
I love how much they seem like kids in this.
oh, 100%.
Because
Yeah.
every other iteration, they're like either older teens or
But
like
like straight up
almost young
adults.
adult. And like this, they just seem like little kids, and they're like, "Oh, we're little Ninja Turtles. We just want to be accepted. We just want to
Mhm.
hang out and have friends." And it looks so damn cute.
So really quick, I
Mhm.
hate going to the movies. I love going to the movies in general, but I hate going to the movies with kids or like
Mhm.
rude people. And me and Elizabeth went to a late showing, like 9 o'clock show, and
Mhm.
like 10 minutes into the movie, it's kind of like everyone there is more or less adults. They're like, yeah, we got this, you know.
Mhm.
These people show up late to the movie, make all this noise, and they're sitting right next to me and Elizabeth throughout the whole movie because they have like a lot of hip hop music in the movie, and throughout the whole movie they're talking, they're singing, they're laughing obnoxiously loud, and it's just like I'm like I fucking hate people. I hate people sometimes, you know, and like it kind of ruined a little bit
Mhm.
of the movie experience for me.
And these were kids.
It was like two women and two kids, and they were just
You know what?
being
It's
loud.
9. Take your kids
And it's like
home.
school started already, you know? Like what the fuck you doing?
Like, I get it, middle of the day, morning, whatever, but it's 9. Put your kids to bed, lady.
Yeah, it was just so like there was a part of the movie where like Master Splinter gets fucking like manhandled and thrown across like
Mhm.
a boulevard, and it's supposed to be like this moment. And she starts busting up. She's the only one in the theater laughing, and I'm like, girl, come on. And like to give you
Mm.
another like perspective, so Elizabeth and I we ordered our snacks and they gave us paper straws. So I grabbed a bunch of paper straws because eventually they
Mhm.
get all soggy and shit. And this girl like put her hand all over Elizabeth's straw and just kind of mad dogged her afterwards and like refused to apologize or anything. I'm like, man, fuck these people, you know?
Ew.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god. But I will say this, okay? It's gonna be the
Okay,
one spoiler thing. They
okay.
do alter the turtles' history, and I
Mhm.
didn't realize this until after Elizabeth pointed it out. Like, I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch the movie because I couldn't really enjoy it as much, but it was
Mhm.
still a good movie. They rewrite the turtles' history, and instead of like Master Splinter teaching them karate,
Mhm.
or martial arts,
What, they
they
just watch anime or what?
essentially, yeah. So
Oh my
what
god.
had happens is that Master Splinter isn't like he didn't have his mind put into the rat. I believe that's his
Mhm.
origin story, but he does
I
he
think he's just a smart rat from what I remember from cartoons, but I actually don't know, so
I think something happens where like his mind or he becomes a rat or his conscious turn goes into the rat because Splinter killed him or some shit like that. I forget. And but anyways, so what happens is that the Master
Mhm.
Splinter finds him and he's just a regular rat. And then he touches them. He touches the turtles as they have like the goo on them, and he ages up, becomes like a man rat. And so what happens? This is a big spoiler part right here. Okay, so just letting you know, Kevin, if you haven't seen the movie or anyone.
Yeah, Kevin, skip ahead, like, a minute.
So what happens is that he takes them up to the surface world because he's like, oh, I want you guys to live like humans, you know. And then
Mhm.
he, as that happens, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's a man rat! Look at these turtles!" And they push him, and then one of the turtles go into the street, and they almost get killed. Like cars almost run him over, and he's like, "Ever since then, I've never took you guys to the surface world, and I realized we need to be able to turn our bodies into weapons." And how he trains them is by watching like those 80s workout videos like and one and
Uh-huh.
two and
Dude,
kick.
they're like leg warmers and big
Yeah,
hair.
they were just watching like Bruce Lee and all those videos, and that's how they became like ninjas because they
Mhm.
just did that. And Elizabeth kind of told me, she was like, I feel like they kind of like were disrespectful to Splinter's character because that's such a pivotal part of the story, and that's why Shredder and Master Splinter have this beef because Shredder killed Splinter, fucking Master Splinter when he was a human, and that's what creates the thing. It's like certain like pivotal parts of the story that you can't really just fuck with a little bit. And
Mhm.
I didn't, and I was thinking about that after she told me, and I was like, yeah, that they kind of did gloss over his character a bit, And at the end of the movie, a little bit more of a spoiler. They tease a sequel, and they're like, "Oh, Splinter's coming. Oh, Shredder's coming. He's gonna be the new villain." And that's when Elizabeth asked me, like, "How are they gonna do Shredder? Like it's kind of, they rewrote the origin story a bit. But I told her, I was like, oh, Shredder could just be part of like this elite organization or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
They could bullshit their way around it. But yeah, after thinking about it, I do agree that they did kind of fuck Splinter's character up a bit. But
all right, do you want? I have the 1987 Splinter origin. Do you want to hear it?
yes.
Okay, Splinter and Yoshi are the same person, so that's the cross. He was a martial instructor at the Foot Clan in Japan. He's framed by his rival for murdering their dojo master. He's expelled and goes to New York City, lives in the sewers, befriends rats. They all get ooze on him, and since he's in contact with rats, he turns into a rat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, it sounds like the movie kind of just deleted their like kung fu like past that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I've literally seen like one. I think I've seen one cartoon, so I'll just take your word for it because I've seen like one cartoon
Mm-hmm.
back when I was like 10. So I don't know much about it, but if you say it, I will believe you because I have no idea.
One another thing I really did appreciate about the movie
Mm-hmm.
was that all the voice actors are kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they all sound like kids. Like that's something I really appreciated about that because like they make little like not like fart jokes, but it's like they do like high school like jokes, and I'm like, okay, this joke's
Mm-hmm.
not for me, but I still really appreciate it. Where it's like Leo's trying to talk to April, and he's like, you don't have Riz," and he's like, "I have Riz, shut up," and they're making literal little kid remarks, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Give me more like stupid stuff like that. And there's a part too where Donatello is fighting like the main villain, and he has a stick, and he's like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm gonna fight him." And he hits him with the stick, and he's like, "Oh no, he grabbed my stick, my only weapon. What do I do?" And then he grabs like the villain grabs the stick and starts beating the shit out of him with the stick. He's like, "Oh no, now I'm getting mollywopped with my stick. Is this how it feels when I attack people?" And I'm just like, "Oh, I fucking love this stuff." It's like,
That sounds very cute.
yeah. And then there's like lines where there was a part where they go on this whole rant about like bacon egg sandwiches, like the ones like the people make in Jersey, like in the fucking liquor stores.
Mm-hmm.
They go on
Like
like
in Birds of Prey
yeah,
when they're
exact,
making the
just like
fucking
that, just like
sandwich.
that. He was like, "Hey, we're from Jersey. We're making bacon egg sandwiches," and it's like this whole scene has no purpose, but it's just them dicking around.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it because it captures that whole essence of like just being a kid, you know. And I think Seth Rogen really did a good job at like making this movie. And the animation is pretty good. Like I will be forever grateful for Spider Verse because it created this trend of like animated movies to be in like a particular art style. The only other movie I saw to do it this year was obviously Spider Man and Puss in Boots. So I'm hoping to see more movies adapt this style because it's such a fucking cool like art style to do.
Mm-hmm.
And and,
It
and
seemed very stylized. It was very like unique.
mhm. And on top of that too, dude, they have so many characters with like a big cast, and it has a little bit of something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not like a big like Turtles fan, there'll be a character in there that you really like. You're like, oh, they have Rocksteady, they have Beat Bop, and they introduce a couple new people too, and they're in the movie just like they don't overdo it. They're in there just enough. And that's why I really enjoyed. And one thing too, I reported on this a little ways back, but they confirmed that a sequel is gonna happen. But
That's good.
they also confirmed that a TV show is coming out, and the TV show is gonna be like 2 seasons, and it's supposed to bridge the gap between Turtles 1 and Turtles 2. So I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited to watch the show when it if it ever comes out because of strikes. But I'm excited to watch the show and how they do that because the way they end the movie was like really sweet and like it was really nice. So I'm curious to see how it gets fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But
That looks. I hope I can watch that. That sounds really cute.
yeah, we saw it like for a $5 Tuesday. So I
Mm-hmm.
if anything I'd say go do the same, but just make sure you do it like when kids are at school or some shit.
Mm-hmm. I'll do it at midnight. Are there any midnight showings?
I don't know.
And there's gonna be a bunch of teens that pop in.
All the edgy teens.
You know what? I think I just have patience because I grew up surrounded by kids because my mom's like a school teacher. So
Fucking
I
hate
feel like I have
kids.
the patience. Because like at the showing there was lots of kids that were kind of like running around a little bit, like the parents would stop them, but I was like, I kind of like expected it.
Uh-huh.
But I know I went, me, friend of the pod, Jake, and neutral ally to the pod, Eric and his girl. We all went to go see a movie together, and there was a bunch of people talking, and Eric got so upset that he and his girl left. They just straight left the theater. They're like, "Sorry, maybe next time," and they just dipped.
Yeah, I was like telling my girl, I
Mhm.
was like, "You down to leave? Like, we can just go get our tickets. Like, could get our money for our tickets." Because it's like this social contract you sign, you know?
Yeah, if you go to a theater, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and I just
That simple.
I don't understand how people can't follow that.
Because they don't have manners. That's what's wrong with this generation these days. Nobody got no manners.
You know, that's the biggest problem with this generation, that I'm fine with that.
Yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, but it was a great movie. I loved it.
Mhm.
The kids did really well, and the writing was good. The writing was really good. I think, I don't know. There's really not much else I can really chat on. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? You want to talk about your worries with Ahsoka?
Oh, if it's bad, I'm gonna kill myself.
I thought you said you were gonna gaslight yourself into thinking it was good.
No, I never said
Yeah,
that.
you did. You said it numerous amount of times.
No, I've said several times I will disintegrate. I explicitly use the word
No, you were
disintegrate.
like, I'll gaslight myself into
You know
thinking
what?
it's good.
I said that earlier. I said that a long time ago, but lately I've been saying a lot of disintegration. If Ahsoka's bad, I will just die. Uh, you know what? I fingers crossed at least the lightsaber fights will be fun. I trust Filoni with lightsaber fights.
Okay.
So yeah, I know there was a couple people that saw a few episodes early. They seemed to really like it. I'm a little worried because they're saying like, oh, this is really great for Rebels and Clone Wars fans, and I'm just like, that's great, but what about everyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about one of my main worries has been, is this accessible to non Star Wars people? Like,
Uh-huh.
I feel like a lot of people that are gonna be watching this are people that saw Ahsoka on Mandalorian.
That, yeah, that's not really like
Mhm.
far out to believe.
Yeah, because Mandalorian brought in a lot of new fans. It really helped Disney Plus, and I feel like a lot of fans are gonna be watching from that. And I know they talked about it in interviews, like, we're hoping to ease the audience in. Like, I know there's already gonna be a text crawl, like in the movies.
Really?
Yeah, apparently there's a text crawl at the beginning that explains some shit, and fingers crossed it's good. I really hope it's good. I'm very excited for it. It's one of I've been joking that August is my month, and this is the last show in my month. So I'm very excited for
All right, Noah. If people want to find you, where can they find you at?
it. You can find me at Noah is Garcia on Twitter, Threads, Instagram, and TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to follow my photography work, you can go to Noah Garcia _photography. And I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting to plug. But Lewis, where can people find you?
People can find, I have the same social media at across the board on everything. So you
Mhm.
can just look up I'm Luis Gutierrez and I'm there. And you can find my work at gamespot.com and IGN if you just Google my name, Luis Joshua Gutierrez. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate every single one of you guys. If you have any feedback, concerns, or remarks, just be sure to hit up Rudy is alright. It's on Instagram and
Mhm.
Twitter. Just let him know all your complaints, and
Yeah,
he'll
give us
deal with them.
5 stars too. You can talk shit to us if you want, like all you want. Just give us a 5 stars.
But thank you guys, and we will see you next week. So adios.
Goodbye.